There we go. All right. What is it? Wednesday? It is. Prince Spaghetti Day. Wrinkled Skin Day. Every day it's Wrinkled Skin Day over here. Good morning. Good morning. Let me bump up the font, pump up the volume, on the comments. There we go. Kaylin and Kerry and Donna. Damn it, Donna. Nice to see you. Where's my pen? I think better with a pen in my hand. There we go. Alrighty. TikTok Live 8 a.m. Here we go. Laura GV, good morning. And Sherry and Ellen. Congratulations, you guys. Damn it, Donna is a grandma now. Oh, how wonderful. What good news. So good. So good. Yay. Shannon, good morning. Yay, it's a wee bit early. I've been doing some 9 a.m. TikTok lives, but I realized today's the day that we typically do the evening YouTube lives. And so I thought it would be fun to have kind of a 12-hour difference between the two. Excuse me. Oh. So we're here a little bit earlier than I'm used to being, which is fine. Getting up early, doing some good stuff. And how are you doing? Yay, good things. I know I tend to be the person who is, sometimes I can't remember if I'm the bell or the food or the dog in this scenario, but typically many times when I show up and do these TikTok lives, because I'll be here for about an hour or so. Good morning, Nat, back up, Chloe, nice to see you. A lot of times you might use some of this time to get some decluttering done, or maybe you're just getting ready for the day. Maybe part of getting ready for the day is maybe planning some decluttering. I admit right now, as I look over at my sorting area, aka this half of my desk, is I kind of left stuff here yesterday, because as soon as I left my desk, I did not come back into this room until hours later. So I will be working on that today. How about you? Do you have a plan for the day? If not, maybe we can make a plan together. Making a plan is one of the best ways to increase the likelihood that something that you want to happen is going to happen. Taking a little baby steps. Will you get there today? Will you finish it today? Maybe, maybe not. But starting your plan will get you closer to the next step and closer to the next step. Even if it is a decluttering plan or not. So in case we haven't met before, I always like to introduce myself, and it's crazy. I don't know if you guys saw this, but last night I did repost the video that I thought actually was my very first TikTok video. I realized I never posted it on TikTok. And it's right before, it's going to be the most recent video on my TikTok page 4 years ago. So I've been doing what I've been doing on the TikTok and on the YouTubes for 4 years now. Beth, Destination Declutter to Decluttering Life Coach, at your service. And I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about what I do. Laura GV is offering as far as making a plan. I usually write up my to-do list. See, I write up my to-do list each night before I go to bed. Awesome. If that works for you, that is great. Yesterday I did some putter and declutter downstairs, so today I have some specific tasks and goals. All right, notice the difference. There are definitely times where puttering and decluttering can be helpful. What's a putter and declutter? Putter and declutter is basically when you just kind of go room to room and you pick things up and you do little dribs and drabs, as we might say. But having some more specific goals. Yes, I did, after we did our lives yesterday, I had some fun. And here's a funny thing. I was saying to make sure everybody had fun yesterday. The two things I did that I considered fun, one was exercising, which was kind of fun, except for now I can barely inhale or exhale because I did too many stomach crunches. And the other one that I did was I did some errands. I went out and my husband joined me, and we went went to a few stores and picked up some things we needed, and I just want to share with you that errands and exercise can be fun. Not everything is going to be going to an amusement park. It can be if you want. Good morning, Coffee and Calm, and Blonde Cheryl. Yay, you have taught me so much. Well, thank you. I hope it's good stuff. I'm happy to teach. I'm happy to learn. I'm happy to improve what I'm teaching. It would be really interesting for me if I decided to go back to almost do a reverse and see what I was saying, what coaching I was offering in my older videos, and seeing kind of what has continued on and what was kind of a temporary thing and I found something better. Just curious. Yeah. No, I love it. Nat and Laura GV saying, I do that too. It helps calm my nerves and mind before bedtime. Yes, calming your nerves at any point can be a good thing. Dog Mama, good morning. New here, hi from Philly. Wicked cold out there, huh? I'm out in Chester County, Dog Mama 4. So yeah, nice to see you. Hopefully you're not plowed in and you don't have to be parked on the street and save your space with a beach chair. But yeah, so my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Now, the interesting thing to me is that since you're geographically near where I live and vice versa, oh, there we go. Yeah, see, sometimes we say Philly because nobody knows Chester County. Who knows? You could be, one of my neighbors across the street for all I know. Isn't that funny? Yeah. I do that often when I say to people, when they say, where are you from? I will say, I'm from Boston. I'm not from Boston. I'm from a suburb outside of Boston, about equidistant as I am from Philly. But okay, you're in the mushroom capital. I'm in the home of the blob. If you know, you know, right? And so nice to see you. Yeah. And I help people with their clutter. I don't go to people's houses. So even though you and I kind of live close by, I don't do the decluttering for you, but what I do is I help you with the part that I think is the most important, which is how you think about your clutter, because how you think about your clutter determines how you feel, and how you feel determines what you do. So it's kind of like a cascading effect. If you're thinking, oh my God, this is such a pain in the ass, I'm so overwhelmed, this is so unfun, you'll feel like, oh. And when you feel, oh, who wants to do anything? Okay? So I like to say, let's shift it over. I actually thought about that yesterday when I was talking about like the 4 stages, and then you've got the 3. And then I was trying to think of the 2. I want to look up the 2-step, but 2 things. There's 2 sides to everything, the opposite. So if you're thinking things that are not so helpful, yet may stop you from doing things. So if you flip it over, the second part of it is if you switch that around and do the opposite, may make you feel better and do better. Okay? So, yeah, those of us on the eastern, northeast, and mid-Atlantic, I guess is where I live now. We're used to the cold. You people in Florida, not so much. Not fun. We have some friends who are traveling in Florida, and luckily they don't have the snow we have, but man, is it chilly out, huh? So, yeah. So I show up, and I do these TikTok lives, and they are for about an hour, and I am here to basically be available to you if you have a question, if you are stuck decluttering, if you have started and then you've stopped and you aren't starting again. It's like, I'm almost like, okay, I'm like the tow truck. Like if you're stuck in the snow, and it's like you're there, but you're spinning your wheels and you're doing everything you know how to do. But sometimes you need somebody there to give you a little push or a pull or some advice to do things. Okay, Muppet is saying where to start. Okay, so the neat thing is, Muppet, I'll tell you, it kind of doesn't matter where you start as long as you start. And I know that is very vague and very, yeah, whatever. I'm going to be more specific, okay? So that's a general rule. It really doesn't matter where you start, but there are some places to start that might be more beneficial. Where we're going to start may not be a place you expect, but I'm going to go there because where I recommend everybody start isn't with the decluttering at the beginning at all. It's going to be checking in with yourself, saying to yourself, how do I feel physically? Because if you don't feel well physically, that's going to affect what you do. How do I feel in my nervous system? Am I all up here and freaking out, overwhelmed? Am I flatlining? Like, oh my gosh, somebody give me some CPR? or am I kind of feeling just right? Like, oh, I'm feeling good. So check in with your body, check in with your nervous system. And if those are out of whack, do the opposite. Get them in whack. Take a headache pill, drink some tea, go to the bathroom, put whatever it's going to do to make you feel better. The other thing with your nervous system is sometimes you need to shake it off. Other times, and after that, if you expel, if you kind of rebuke all the negative energy, slowing down, breathing down, calming down, okay? So getting yourself ready for the decluttering, okay? The third ones are going to be to write things down and chunk things down, okay? And the really where you could, after you do that, so always do those things first. Check in with yourself. Make yourself feel better. When you feel better, you're going to do better. Okay, once you do that, let's pretend you're feeling good. And I want you to write down where to start. And where to start, and here's a good thing. Start with surface clutter. There's 3 levels, okay, of clutter. There's surface, there's stored, and sentimental. Start in one room, chunk it down, write it down, chunk it down. Start with one room of your choice. And start with just the clutter that's on any horizontal surface. Okay, does that help you get started, Muppet? If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, give me some more details of why that does not help, and I'm happy to continue. All right. Now, Dog Mama says we moved from a 3-bedroom to a 1-bedroom, and I have a closet. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, notice it's going to become a math problem at a certain point, right? A certain math problem. A 3-bedroom house into a 1-bedroom house, so you have 2 bedrooms worth of stuff. This is where the decluttering really happens, is because you don't have the space for what you used to, so decisions need to be made. And as I like to say, decluttering is decision making. Deciding, okay, I know I didn't have to make a decision when my house was big. Well, now my house is smaller. What do I really want to keep, and what can I let go of? If I can't fit it all in the closet, and I really, really want to keep it, where else can I store items? But decluttering comes before storage. If you try to fix your storage before you do your decluttering, you may be storing stuff you don't really want, okay? So notice that. Notice that, and even though you initially say, but I love it all, trust me, once you start looking at it, there's things you love more than others, and there's things you don't like as much. So knowing those categories, pulling out the things you really like and keeping them, and being more easily able to say, let go, okay? Now, I love it. Congratulations, Kara. Kara, good morning. Yesterday, we finally brought in the new sectional. Today, I'm laying on it, and I'm never getting up. I love that that is so comfortable. You are inspiring me once again to look at our couch and see if we can get one that looks good and is comfortable. So yay, yay. Okay. Yes, fight or flight is completely real, Dog Mama. Yes. And that is why I recommend before starting on, making a list will calm down the nervous system. Writing down the thoughts in your head, getting them down on paper. I use the word down a lot when I talk about those 4 steps. Crown on down, you check your body. Calming down, settling down your nervous system. Writing down things that you want to get done. And then whatever you've written down, chunking it down into smaller. But yeah, getting out of fight or flight and even just into neutral is like slowing down, you putting your foot on the gas, but you're just spinning your wheels because you're stuck on ice. Slowing down and just getting into neutral, not just immediately getting into gear. Because the other thing too is, and this is why I call my coaching destination decluttered, over here, kind of like a road trip. Before you start driving, make sure you know where you're headed. Make sure that not only you know where you're headed, but you're excited to get there, okay? Ooh, everybody, Kara put a video up of her new sectional. I'm totally going to check that out. Okay, Shannon is asking about paperwork, and somebody else was too. I'm scrolling here. Scrolling. Yeah, tips for piles of paper clutter that includes tons of old to-do lists. All right, so a couple of things. One is, we learned yesterday, notice the words you use. I try to notice the words I use, but I notice the words you use too. We tend to use the word a ton a lot. And what we learned yesterday is a ton is 2,000 pounds. So technically it's not a ton of old to-do lists. I'm from Massachusetts originally, so I would say you have a wicked lot of old to-do lists. But I would say this, gather up, and part of decluttering is going to be sorting through what you have and categorizing it, like items together. So I would say if you've got piles of paper clutter and each pile includes a ton of old to-do lists, cull those out, pull those out, and let's take a look at your old to-do lists. I bet you have done some of the things on the old to-do lists, okay? So make a fresh to-do list. Now, I have a better way of doing a to-do list than you may have done before. I have one that I find really helpful that I share with my one-on-one clients, and I'll share with you too. And it pretty much involves basically just getting a spiral-bound notebook. And instead of having a whole bunch of little to-do lists, you just keep it here where it's stuck in the book. Write all of that stuff down, but put it in the back of your notebook, okay? Hope that helps. All right? Hope that helps. And yeah, Shannon says first step on organizing home paperwork. Okay. Ashley Marie, I'm here for you if you need me. And I will say first step in organizing home paperwork, I'm going to go back to get out of overwhelm and into neutral. Make sure you're feeling okay. If you're feeling all kind of shook up, all shook up, that feels like a cheap trick thing. If your nervous system feels kind of all, blurby like this, take a few minutes, slow down and calm down, settle down your nervous system. If you need to expel, as I said, if you're feeling too much energy, get it out of you, shake it off, as that girl once said. But then calm down, slow down, breathe down, okay? If you try to do something and your nervous system is still in fight or flight, you're too busy trying to fight or flee, okay? But after you do that, let's just go from now on thinking that you have gotten yourself out of fight or flight and you are working on getting yourself into neutral. What I would do is I would start with step number 3 then, is write down some stuff. And this is where I say, what is your destination? You are saying first step in organizing home paperwork. Well, before you even organize it, let's just start from the end and work backwards. Why do you want organized paper? What do you want it to look like? How do you want it to function? How do you want to feel when you're interacting with your paperwork? Writing down the answers to those questions can help you, okay? So you have more clarity on basically why you are doing that thing you do, okay? Yeah, I am, and Dog Mama, just so you know, I am wicked. I keep things wicked simple. I will say the same things over and over again. Maybe I have for years. You know why? Because simple can work. Why make things more difficult when simple will do? Okay? So I say, what's your destination? And here, I'll give you write this down. I'm not writing a book. I'm not, but I will say that my videos are recorded, so if you ever want to listen to them, they're on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. But what I will say is this, defining your destination decluttered home paperwork, okay? We've got the header. Ask yourself, what do I want my home paperwork to look like? And this is what I would say as I look at some of mine. I want it to not be all over the place. I want it to be housed. I want it to be stored in one easy to get to place. Organized so I can find what I'm looking for if I need to find it. And I want it to be easy for me to file the papers that I decide to keep. When things are looking good and functioning well, I feel good. Because I feel calm in my nervous system that if I need to go find that old Pico bill, that I know where to go to get it and it's there. Okay? Keeping things simple, but reminding yourself, you may not have done this before. Lord knows I didn't for decades. I never asked myself why I was doing what I was doing. I was on autopilot and I was doing things that worked maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Maybe even never worked for me, but I was taught by somebody that this is what you do. You keep your check register and you balance your checkbook and then, whatever it is. Okay? So that's why I like to come in here and remind you, before you start anything, ask yourself what the goal is, what you're aiming for, what your destination is. Now, I say destination instead of goal because I am not a sporty spice. I am a traveler like nobody's business. And to me, having a destination is a place you're actually excited to get to. because you're like going on a travel. It's not like, oh, like destination dentist. I mean, unless you're in such pain that going to the dentist will relieve your pain. Okay? So I say to you, get some clarity on why you're doing what you're doing. Stop. Interrupt your habit and be like, whoa, wait a minute. Why am I always getting this Pico bill in the mail? I open it up. It shows me how much, energy I'm using. It tells me how much I have to pay, but I pay that bill online. Do I really need this paper version of this and then filing it? No. Can I look up this stuff if I log into my account? Yeah. Okay, well, maybe what I will do is I will go paperless. Now, some things I have gone paperless for, basically the things that are recurring. Other ones I totally make a point. I am purposely staying paper bound to certain statements. But I am aware and I have made a conscious decision, not an unconscious. Notice the difference. There's two sides. There's an unconscious decision. Dog Mama, are you in my brain? Welcome to my brain as well. And having a conversation with yourself saying, wait, why am I doing what I'm doing? Trying not to be judgy. There's judgy is on one hand, you get the two hands. On the other hand, you've got curiosity, which is the opposite of judgy. It's the same words without the judgmental tone. Why am I doing this? Why do we keep on getting this thing from Verizon? We pay, it's the same amount every day. It takes up paper. We don't need it to save. We don't need to save. If we need the paperwork to be printed out, if we get audited because we're, putting some of it on our taxes, I can log in and download those things if I want. So maybe I don't need to pay, but maybe I don't need to even get that in the mail or file it at all. Well, that's weird. For my entire life, I've always filed those things. Yeah, but things are different now. Yeah, Dog Mama says, I want to see the numbers. Me too. I just mentioned to you that a lot of us, so I'm a Gen Xer, a lot of us grew up in the but prior to the internet, prior to computers even. So a lot of us were brought up by people who dealt with a strictly paper-based process and system. But now we are a hybrid system. Some of our stuff is paper and some of it is digital. So I ask you, Dog Mama, if you didn't get that piece of paper, and anybody else, if you didn't get that piece of paper in the mail, would there be a way for you to look and see how much energy you're using? See that number? And the answer is yes, most likely. Is for me, if I want to see how much money we, sent to Pico because we, keep on the electricity, especially with like the Christmas lights from last month, I can log in and see what we did and be like, oh, okay, there's that number. I don't need it to be old-fashioned, delivered, by Pony Express. Okay? So just think about that. You may be running your system, the systems you use to run your home may need some updating. You may be working on an outdated system that if you just notice that, you could update it, and not just update it for the hell of it. Update it in a way that makes it easier for you. Okay? So I say this to everybody. If you have something that works for you, don't fix what isn't broken. However, if what you're doing isn't giving you the result you want, in order to get the result you want, you are going to need to change something that you're doing currently now. And the neat thing is when you see that your change is not just change for change's sake, but that your change will result in something you want, you will be more encouraged to change versus being discouraged and not changing. Okay? I hope that helps. Patty, you are not late. You are not late. Just to be clear, okay? This is not a classroom. I am not a teacher. I am a decluttering life coach. The only person who would ever be late to one of my lives is me, because I'm the one who said I will show up at 8 a.m. and I'm the only one who says I will stay here until 9 a.m. Anybody else, you guys are free to come and go as you want. You have autonomy and you're going to work with what you do. Do not apologize for something that there's no reason for apologizing for it. Catch yourself when you're apologizing and, You don't need to. Okay, there is no late. There is no late. And if you're late because you wanted to show up early and you didn't, get curious about that. I had the wrong time on my calendar. All right, well, you know what? Here, let me check what I scheduled. Because sometimes, very rarely, but it happens, I have been screwed up and been on the wrong ones. So this is what I see. I see Wednesday, January 28th. Check. The old 8 a.m. TikTok and 8 p.m. YouTube Live. Patty, it happens. It happens. No big deal. Water under the bridge. You're here now. Let's not waste our time asking for forgiveness. But how can I help you? Patty, was I supposed to follow up with you? Oh, yes, I was. Patty, I am curious. I had it written down because I write down things so I don't forget it. I highly recommend it too. Patty, how did it go yesterday with the post-dinner cleanup? Feel free to share it in the comments if you like. If you didn't have a post-dinner talk with your husband and daughter, none of mine, never mind. It's all what you want to do, but I promised I would check up with you. Also, if Kelly shows up, I hope she called her attorney about her will. All right? So I said I would follow up. Having accountability. That's one of the things I do a lot, basically on these TikTok lives, but also with my one-on-one clients, is when I meet with people every week, there is built-in accountability to say, I better have some stuff ready for the next time I go to my coaching session. You know, external accountability, not just internal accountability is when you promise yourself you'll do something and you'll do it. Sometimes we're a little bit kind of weak in that. But having external accountability, when you tell somebody else you're going to do something, you may be more likely to do it. So notice how you are wired. Is one of those easier for you than the other? Can you use them in combination? Find the tools that work for you to make it easier for you to get stuff done. Yay, I love it. German Maid. Attorney call is scheduled for noon today. Rock on. Are you also? This is funny. German Maid, you're not Kelly too. I know we were talking about it. When I go from TikTok to YouTube, sometimes people have different names. That'd be wicked funny. But yay for anybody who is getting their will together. We have, in my own personal life, oh, that's wicked funny. Okay, I had no idea. Yay. My God, it's like Batman and Adam West or whatever, right? We've got secret identities, right? Awesome. Good stuff. We were talking about decluttering paperwork, and part of your important paperwork is going to be having a will to tell somebody what to do with your stuff. But notice, you're having a hard enough time sometimes dealing with your stuff. But getting a will gives you clarity on it, okay? The other thing, too, is being decluttered with your paperwork makes it easier for you to grab what you need of important stuff if your house is on fire. If you want to leave the country, you want to make sure that you've got your passport and your birth certificate and any other kind of official documentation, that it isn't kind of squirreled away in between your Pico bill and your Verizon bill, you know, and the coupons from the Sunday paper, okay? So decluttering has really good fringe benefits outside of just having your house look good, okay? Decluttering. Notice I talked about at the very beginning, and this is the steps I want you to all practice going through, which is checking in with your human body. If you don't feel well physically, nothing else is going to be really, everything else is going to be impacted. Learning to settle down and calm down your nervous system, especially with what's going on in the country right now, that is a very important life skill. Even when things are going okay, getting yourself out of overwhelm and fight or flight and into neutral so that you can get into gear and point yourself in the right direction and make a difference, change what you do not like, what is happening. You cannot change what you don't like. If you're spinning your wheels, you're not getting traction. You're not making forward movement. This is why I use the car analogy a lot. Okay? So a lot of what we talk about in decluttering is way cooler and deeper and more important than just, oh, you know, put your sweaters in Roy G. Biv and high to low. Like, you can do that like nobody's business. But being able to remind yourself of, wait a minute, I can change something that bugs me. Okay? And that, to me, is the deeper lesson. That's why I actually went back and got additional training to become a certified life coach, because I was immediately aware that if my clients were all up here in overwhelm and distraction and running around like this, that you're not going to be decluttered. But practicing getting yourself settled down in order to get something done that you want to get done, Okay? Interesting. Okay, so Patty asked her husband about the robe. That's right. Hubby thought you wanted to try it on me. Nope. Oh, okay. He thought you did. You didn't. He put it up last night. I'm assuming that means put it in a Goodwill bag or something. I hope that worked for you. Yay. Good stuff. Beginning to get brave in articulating what you want and get clarity in your communications in his closet. But wait a minute. Patty, does he want the robe? Does he want the robe? Is he going to wear the robe? Because he may, that doesn't make sense to me. It's just me. Maybe I don't have all the information. I only have the information that's typed in front of me. I don't know. It might help to get clarity, because he may have the habit of buying, I don't know, maybe I'll wear it someday, But getting clarity in the way you communicate and requiring clarity from the people you're communicating with. That's all I have. It's his robe. Okay. There you go. Too funny. Yes, I have tried to help my husband declutter his clothing. Let's just say I have an idea of the clothing he says he's going to wear. He has a different idea too. I know when to drop it because it's not my stuff. Notice how I can easily drop that with you because it's not my stuff, right? So noticing and getting stronger with, basically, this is what it comes down to, is what do I want? Talk about life coachy, right? I want a decluttered home. I want my kitchen to look like this. I want my paperwork to function more easily so I can easily find what I'm looking for, easily use it, and easily put it away. When things look good and function well, I tend to feel good. And I want to feel good, just like Chuck Mangione and James Brown, okay? So this is why I do what I do, to help you feel good in your home and to remind you and empower you to get out of spinning your wheels and into the mindset and the heart set of I can change what bugs me and feel confident in taking a step towards that. And then maybe another step and another step. Now, doing that initially outside of your house may trigger overwhelm and fear. That's why we practice these skills inside our house with, the stuff that's laying around. Do I want that? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, how can I easily get rid of it? Okay? That's why I'm here. Okay? Okay. Patty, lots of discussion at the table. Cool. No blame. Good. Lots of info. Yay. Write down the info. Not a lot of direction yet, but know what's not working. Yeah. And notice direction. Direction. I don't know what direction we're going into. That's why it's so important for all of us, myself included, to always ask, what's my destination? What do I want to happen here? Because here's a neat thing, and this is a place of power. Some people don't care. They just want to be told what to do. So if they're already saying, I don't care, and you care, that means you get to define. Oh, excuse me. I don't want to burp on national TV. If you care about the way something looks or functions, get clarity on how you want it to look and function and work towards that goal. I am a lot more particular about certain things than my husband is. He doesn't really care. I'm the one who thinks it's important to have the spatulas closer to the oven than way over here where the forks and knives are in the kitchen. So we set it up that way. He doesn't really care. He'll do anything. Some things he does care about, and we have a discussion on it. But if you want things to look a certain way and function a certain way, work towards that goal. Write down that destination. Share your vision of that destination with the other people you live with. Get their buy-in Or at least say, hey, this is what we're aiming for. So every time I ask you to do whatever, it's because it's heading towards the kitchen looking like this after dinner every night. Okay? Yeah, knowing what's not working, the flip side, the other hand, the other hand is the opposite of what's not working is going to often be what works. Or at least when you find out what's not working, you can solve for those little problems. I want to put all the clean dishes away, or I want to put all my clean clothing hanging in my closet. But when all of my clothes are clean, there's no room in my closet because I have too much clothes in my closet. So now I need to see, okay, what's hanging in my closet? Is it everything I'm currently wearing for this season, for this body that I have, for the temperature it is outside? And if yay, then can I store it other places? All sorts of interesting stuff. Okay. Marietta, hi, nice to see you. Marietta in Jersey. Beth in Pennsylvania. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I do these TikTok lives almost every day during the week, occasionally on the weekends, different times of the day, different days of the week. No week is a replica of the other ones because I love a flexible schedule. And it also allows us to avoid the trolls. If people know when you show up all the time, then they may show up and just want to be a pain in the ass, and I don't want that. So this is why I do schedule my TikTok lives. And if you want to know when they are, the easiest thing to do is to just join my mailing list. I don't send out a lot of emails, I'll be honest with you, because I don't want to clutter up probably your already cluttered email box. But what I do is you give me your email address on my website, destinationdecluttered.com. You get an automatic email with a link to a page of my website that nobody else can see unless you have the link. And on that secret page, as I like to call it, is the schedule, the TV guide of when I'm going to show up for the next many days. Okay? Alrighty. So Sarah T., I am sensing a bit of overwhelm in just the way that you have presented your dilemma. I have a clothing problem. Exclamation point tends to indicate a little bit of overwhelm. Ugh also indicates this is making me feel ugh, right? I need to weed through it all. Now, here's something I want you to think about, okay? Weeding is a great verb. It is. Because what you're doing is you're not pulling everything out of your garden. You're deciding what's a weed and what's a flower, okay? And what I will offer you, Sarah, I think the one word, and this is me almost like dissecting like a sentence, that I need to weed through it all. Maybe yes, but don't try to weed through it all. That will get you back into overwhelm and you may not even start. This is when we use step number 4 of chunking it down. What does chunking it down mean? It basically means putting things into smaller categories and maybe like items together. So notice, clothing is a very general category. Under the heading of clothing, you've probably got underpants, socks, bras, bathing suits, long sleeve shirts, jeans, leggings, dresses. Chunking it down and picking one category and starting with that one category, okay? Chunking it down gets you out of overwhelm and keeps you out of that, okay? If you have, let's say you picked sweatshirts and you've got 57,000 sweatshirts, notice I'm being very dramatic, then maybe you say, well, I'll only deal with my green sweatshirts today. You can chunk it down in many ways. But the main thing is everybody, let me be so crystal clear, like the Waterford crystal, all right? Do not overwhelm yourself. Don't allow yourself to feel, If you start feeling, that's overwhelm, right? Practice the steps of calming down your nervous system. Okay? And there are many of them. And as you've made okay, I feel good, and then you open up the door to the closet and you go, again, and then you calm down again. Okay? It is a life skill, and getting out of overwhelm gets you out of fight or flight and freeze. Okay? When you're not frozen, you can move. That is action. Make sure that when you unfreeze, that you know what direction to steer in. You know, when you finally get traction and you're in gear, where are you driving towards? And I want you to be driving towards your destination. Okay? Yay, Camille is saying, I'm halfway through purging photographs. Awesome. Clothing will be next. Rock on. Chunk, chunk. Yay, Muppet. I'm glad to get you started in the inspiration. I do this every morning. If you miss the lives, if you tune in too late or whatever, please know that there are actually, let me just double check here. On the YouTube channel, my TikTok lives are recorded, as are my YouTube lives. 971 videos. Just saying. There's plenty of them to choose from. Pop one on whenever you want to declutter, and I'll be there in the background cheering you on. All right. Dog Mama says, I keep clothes that don't fit. Question mark, question mark, question mark. The question mark indicates that there's a question. Kind of, I'm inferring that you don't know why. You are thinking. You have a thought of, I don't know. Let's change that. Okay. One hand to the other. Number one hand, the second hand on the other hand. Carla, nice to see you. I look forward to hanging out with you next week. Dog Mama, notice you say I don't know, and that stops everything. I have an idea. One reason I might keep clothing that doesn't fit is, and then I would say this number 3, write it down. You can write it in the comments right now and share it with everybody, or you can write it on paper and just share it with yourself. I know I have kept clothing that doesn't fit because either it was aspirational, I want to fit my ass into it. My body is too big for that small piece of clothes. Or on the flip side, I have grown too small and I have big clothes, and then I have fear that I may need my big clothes again. That tends to be where I've been in this journey through the life with my body, right? I mean, all of us have human bodies that gain weight and lose weight, and then menopause, and then, GLP-1s, and then overeating and whatever. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so here's a fun thing. Yay, people seeing each other. Okay, Marietta, I want to call you. I'm genuinely curious about this. Why are you calling 75% of your Christmas decor down and put away? Why is that a so-so win? Why are you throwing shade on the fact that you only have 25% of your Christmas decor left to put away? Why is part of your brain dimming your shine on that? Because it's not 100%? Yeah, it will be though. As soon as you do the 25, celebrate. It's a C. You know what? Here's the thing. We don't grade ourselves here, but what I will say is this. Celebrate the moments of your life. Okay? Celebrate that 75%, because the 75 is not the end goal. You are on your way to the 100%. You're just not there yet. It's not a test. It's not a pass or fail. Okay? It is not the end of the road. The end of the road is when you're done with the test and you got that done. You are still on the journey, on your road trip, okay? If your road trip is from where you and I are here, okay, you are 75% there. You are closer than you ever have been. Celebrate all this progress you've made. Celebrate all that progress you've made. Nobody else is going to. So celebrate the moments of your life. Celebrate. Yeah, Emmer Effer, I'm no longer in Jersey, on my way to having all of my stuff done. If all of my Christmas stuff is away and I'm on the Santa Monica Boulevard, and here I am at 75%, I'm in Durango or Albuquerque. I should have taken that left at Albuquerque. Okay. Nobody else is going to celebrate your wins for you. They might, but don't count on other people to do that. Learn to celebrate your wins. This is why I have books and books filled with my wins, including I took a walk to yoga. That's a win to me. Walking to and from yoga and going to yoga on Tuesday, March 10th of 2025. How about Wednesday, August 21st, I tried a new chair and mat class. I guess I've been working out. Celebrate the moments of your life, okay? Nobody else is going to. And if you don't, who will? There we go. Kara just posted the sofa and love seat on Marketplace. She got rid of a sofa and love seat she didn't want because she got a new one. Yay. You were right, of course, Marietta. This is why I show up. There we go. Yeah, and own the fact that I didn't get that done. I stopped the decluttering because it's my birthday on Thursday, she says. I paused so I can have fun in Durango and Albuquerque. So my sons and I can go skiing in PA for 2 days. Boom. What a good reason for stopping the putting away of the boring stuff. Okay? Yay. Marietta, tomorrow's your birthday. Right? Yay. Good stuff. You are on a journey. And even when you get to all that stuff down, I mean, that's anything. I'm not done with my Christmas stuff. We have 95% of it done. All that needs to happen is that my husband needs to tape together the box around the Santa blow mold, and put them upright and tuck them in there, and then it'll be done. Okay? So everybody, notice what Marietta maybe wasn't even aware of is how much she was dimming her own shine on getting some really good stuff done. Okay? Don't do that to yourself. Other people may do it for you. Do not do it to yourself. Interrupt. This is your traffic cop hand. Stop that stuff. Lovingly disrupt your internal monologue. Well, it's like, well, it's a so-so win. I only drove to Albuquerque from New Jersey. Yeah, you're closer than you ever have been to your destination. There we go. Marietta, 62. I look forward to it. Awesome. You're making it look good, okay? Do not underestimate the power of the words that you use both consciously, like I am here trying to consciously pick out the right words to communicate to you. But even more important is to tune into that invisible radio in your head and start to listen to the words that you use subconsciously, unconsciously, without being aware of the words you use. And if you become aware of the words you use, notice that you may be treating yourself mean. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't treat yourself mean. Build yourself up. Give yourself a win all over the place. This book, I have been using a book of good stuff that I write down the good stuff every day. It's a habit. It's a habit I wish I had gotten into years ago, but I started it in about 2020, 2021. It has revolutionized my life because I look now at my life through the lens of what good stuff has happened to me and what good stuff am I making happen in my life. Okay? What good stuff can I make happen? I'm going to make it happen. Now, I love it. Carla says, I've started arguing with my backseat driver. Yeah, when I talk about that radio station and the voice in your head that's very negative or very unhelpful, that is, I call that the backseat driver voice. Because that is a voice in your head that says, don't do it. Don't celebrate. That's not worth celebrating. That's not worthy. You're not worthy of celebrating. I like to flip the bird to my backseat driver sometimes, even though they're in the car with me until I die. What I would offer, Carla, if you're arguing with your backseat driver, the best place to have an argument with your backseat driver is when you're pulled off safely to the side of the road, okay? And you're writing down what they are saying, because they will give you, I don't want to say ammunition. They will give you clues as to where their weak spots are, what they're afraid of. Yes, you can rebuke them and tell them to F off, but they're not leaving, and they will come back again if you just tell them to F off. However, if you get curious about what they're really saying to you, you can have a much more effective discussion and counterpoint with them and kind of deflate their bubble, okay? So I highly recommend that, okay? Alrighty, Laura GV says paper goods tub decluttered, yay, and found a good spot for it, yay. In the process, found an MIA cleaning product, yay. Look at 3 yays, awesome. There we go. Yep. Interesting. Carla is experimenting with, I purchased a stand for my phone and iPad so I can record myself in the process and progress I am working in, watching myself and time I am using. Interesting. Notice that. That's a bit of kind of external accountability and internal accountability at the same time, you know? So, good stuff. The product was on the top of the freezer where the tub is going. I'm short, so I didn't see where it was. Yeah, I know that. I miss things when I'm short too. So yes, I am feeling better. I've heard that you Florida people are getting some freezing cold weather. No fun. No fun anywhere. I don't like the cold. Some people do. I had a message from a friend from high school who was like, I love snow. And I was like, you go, girl. Me, I'm looking at Palm Springs. Okay. So, interesting. Okay. Really quickly, I'm here for about another 9 minutes. Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach. And I just show up to help you figure out something different to do to make your life feel better, but in a way that makes sense. Okay? Oh, Carla, yeah, no fun, especially you folks down in Alabama, because you're not used to this. Yeah, we have no heat right now. That sucks. Yeah, Florida 35, I would be pissed. I would be pissed if I had flown all the way from where I am to sunny Florida and then found out that it was freezing. Ugh. Alrighty, Kara's got a plan for today. Let's talk about our plans for today, because in less than 12 hours, we have the opportunity to have some accountability and follow up to see what we got done from our plan. Kara has written down her plan, step number 3, and chunked it down. She says wash all the covers, but I bet she can't fit all the covers in the laundry at the same time, so she's going to chunk it down. Okay, do some covers and then some more covers. She's going to ship the jewelry. Awesome. And then she's getting specific. I'm going to list at least 10 items. I love it. I love it. What a great thing. I'm going to write down something. I'm not sure if I want to share it because I would love to just get it done. But I'm going to write it down and I might let you know about it. That would be so good if I would feel so good if I got those things off my plate. But I'm not willing to share it because I want to work on why I'm not posting them. All right. Anyhow, not even what do you want to get done for today? Like you're here and you're looking ahead. How about this? Let's flip it. Pretend it's 8 o'clock tonight. Okay. It's 12 hours from now. And you are, instead of looking ahead at the road, you are looking in your rearview mirror before you step out of your car for the day and close the door and go to bed. What are 3 things, not a lot, notice I'm chunking it down and getting specific. What are 3 things that you feel like you could accomplish today that are leading you towards your destination decluttered, and you feel like you could get them done easily before 8 p.m. tonight? Feel free to write it down for yourself if you don't feel comfortable sharing it in the comments. Or write it down for yourself and share it in the comments for some bonus external accountability. Notice that Kara did that, and now she knows that other people, she is going to follow through with her promises because she promised it to herself, but she kind of promised us, hey, you guys, I'm going to do this. Okay. Alrighty. Melissa is going to be looking through cabinets to find her misplaced Christmas gift cards. Awesome. Yay. Alrighty, Laura already has her list because she made it up yesterday. Alrighty, and she is going to taking donations and commission items to their destination. All right, now, Patty, I love this, but I just want you to add one word to, you say under kitchen sink. That is a location, but it doesn't have a verb, right? Hey, you guys, we're going to turn it on. Yeah, Hannah, shovel. Yeah, only shovel so much. You're going to hurt yourself, okay? It's the electric company. It is the electric company, Kara. We're going to turn it on just like the electric company. We're going to bring you the power just like electricity. When you're gonna ba 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 ba. We're gonna turn it on. I could sing the whole thing, but I don't have all the lyrics, but I know the tune. All right, we have fun here. What can I say? Dog Mama is gonna fold. Notice a verb. That's what I was looking for. Declutter to one level. Nothing on top of each other. See, notice the specificity. Now you have something to aim for. Is something on top of it or not? Right? Yeah, Dog Mama is gonna fold 3 loads wash. Fold 3 loads of wash the couch blankets, and call Verizon. Awesome. Write that down for yourself too, and put a little box next to each one of them. So when you're done with it, you can check it off or get some dopamine by crossing a line through it in a very dramatic fashion. Ta-da! Look what I did. And yeah, I am filled with 70s references. I spent way too much of my youth in front of the TV and the radio. All right. Oh, Melissa. Okay, gotcha. So nice to meet you. My name is Beth. I'm only here for another 4 minutes, but tonight we actually do this same thing, except on a different channel. Kind of like when I was growing up, the Electric Company was on channel 2, but the Monkees reruns were on channel 56. So tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will do this and we'll check in with each other to be like, hey, you said you were going to do this. Did you get it done? And we will celebrate the wins, every single one of them. And that's for you, Marietta. Okay? And everybody else. No win is too small. Every little bit helps. Okay? Yeah, and good golly, this lollipop is following me and I really don't know what to do. Right? Where did that hour go? Well, time does fly when you're having fun, but also time flies when you're not aware. So notice, we now have 1 less hour in our day, and that is not to get you into overwhelm. It's to kind of sober you up and say, that's right. I have to be mindful of how I spend my time and energy. Okay? I love it. Sprinkle says, I already organized the dog gadgets, combs, meds, and nail clippers. Awesome. Write it down and cross it off anyway. All right? There we go. Dog Mama says, I'm glad I came here today. Yes, I am too. We're always open to new people except for haters. I have no tolerance for haters and you get blocked immediately. That's how I rule. And if you want to know when to show up again, consider just adding your name to the Destination Decluttered email group. Friendly group of people. I rarely email, but I share good stuff and it's free and it helps you find out when I'm going to show up live. Okay? There we go. A done list. Exactly. There we go. Okay. So we got about 2 minutes left. What else can I tell you? I also do declutter parties, which is when we show up on Zoom. You pay a price, you get a ticket, you show up on Zoom and you actively declutter while on Zoom. You don't have to turn your camera on at all, but it helps for that kind of body doubling for ADHD folks and also just accountability to show up for like an hour and a half on a Saturday or Sunday. There are a bunch of those that I'm scheduling for February, okay? And you're all going to be invited, but the only people who get the invites are the ones that I have the email addresses to mail them to. See how I did that? Alrighty, there we go. Delilah says, I am primed to take my tree down this afternoon. Awesome, Delilah. Feel free to show up tonight in about 11 hours or so and let us know how it went. And no, even if you only take one ornament off, that's progress. Okay? There we go. Hey, I love it. I love it. Laura GV's kitty, striped tiger, Daniel striped tiger kitty, knows my voice. Meow, meow. Meow, meow. Yay. Yay, kitties. Knowing my name. As I said, Pavlov's dog. Maybe it's Pavlov's kitty. Okay? He shows up when I'm here. Thank you, meow, meow. I appreciate it, meow, meow. Very cool. Now I feel like I'm on the end of the Mr. Rogers show. So I'm putting on my shoes. Maybe I'm putting on my little slippers, you know? I gotta rewind and remember the tune for that one, okay? And there we go. There we go. Trees are still up, but that's the task is my hubby's. Yeah. You do your stuff, he does his stuff, and boom, it gets done. All right? So this was a lot of fun, you guys. Again, you can follow me here on TikTok. However, I don't post a lot of videos. The one I will recommend, which I think is kind of funny because I was wearing my old glasses. I mean, it was 4 years ago. Is one of my very first videos I ever did where I was trying to show people the way I coach, and I was talking about wanting to go see Barry Manilow. The fear of missing out on Barry Manilow in Las Vegas, fear got me motivated to actually go to Las Vegas and see him. Okay, but you can watch that. But better yet, destinationdecluttered.com. Share your email address with me. You'll get an automatic email that gives a link to when I show up again live on TikTok and YouTube. And I will see you guys tonight. All right? Bye.